Jerome McGinley, one of the names making up the class of 2020. Ken Hollins in the building department. Arian hosted Jerome McGinley, as we mentioned, Kevin Lowe, Kim St. Pierre, Doug Wilson, of course, the Hockey Hall of Fame, announced previously that this class, the class of 2020, deserved better than a virtual ceremony. So they will get a real ceremony coming up in 2021. Nice. Absolutely. I mean, it's not just an induction. There's a whole pomp and circumstance surrounding this with the game and the events leading up to it. So good on them. Unfortunately, they had to wait a year, but maybe the wait will make it that much more special.
And I think it makes great sense. I mean, this really is the highest of honors in our sport, JMO, any sport for that matter. So, you know, as unfortunate as pandemic has been, as extended as it's been, give these guys their due and give them the full pomp and circumstance. I think that makes perfect sense.
Zoom is great for certain things, just not Hockey Hall of Fame.
Not getting your Hall of Fame jacket.
Ceremonies.
No, sir.
All right, so the class of 2020 going in this November. So now we look ahead at the class of 2021 and some of those names that are first-year eligibles. And, of course, they'll go in next year in 2022. So let's try to keep all this straight. But here you go. The Sedin twins, Henrik Zetterberg and Rick Nash. We'll start with the twins. Do they go in together? They have to, right?
They don't do anything apart.
Could you imagine the Thanksgiving or something if one gets in and the other guy doesn't?
You run the risk of dividing that family in half if you don't usher in the Sedins together. And, you know, the unfortunate, the downside of the Sedins over the course of their careers, they just never won anything postseason. And while that is noteworthy, it's really hard to overlook the numbers that these two have amassed and really amassed almost all at the same time on the ice. They are virtually indistinguishable statistically. And as you saw it, 1,000-plus points for each of these individuals, both Daniel and Henrik. I had the pleasure of watching them enter the league together and really saw their maturation as a tandem in those Canucks jerseys, JMO. They were pretty unique, very special tandem together, and I think really are deserving of that. And let's not, overlook the fact that they've won Olympic gold, 2006 on the same 2006 team. And anytime Canada's in a tournament on international ice, you can pull off a win. It's saying something about you.
Not too shabby. So the Sedin twins up for induction in 2021, as well as Henrik Zetterberg, who has won a Stanley Cup, as well as international gold as well. What do you make of his chances going in on the first ballot?
You know, anybody for me that has a career as long as Henrik Zetterberg amasses the points, 960 to be precise about Henrik Zetterberg, and wins the Conn Smythe Trophy, that to me is somebody that gets your attention and is well worth a hard look at. Potential Hall of Fame status. In my estimation, yes, I vote in favor of Henrik Zetterberg, longtime captain of the Detroit Red Wings through some pretty impressive years, really hallowed years for these Detroit Red Wings, all under Big Z, without question. Really a worthy choice there.
You know you're getting old when some of these names, these guys are fresh out of the league, especially Rick Nash. It feels like just yesterday he was playing in the NHL. Now he's eligible for the Hockey Hall of Fame. What do you make of Rick Nash and his chances?
You know, again, a very remarkable career. Another guy that, that came up short of winning anything in the postseason, at least on the NHL stage. Did experience victory as a Canadian Olympic team member. 805 points, that's nothing to slight anybody about, but in comparison to the rest of the field, Rick Nash is somebody that probably is getting, consideration beneath or aside from the three individuals we've mentioned earlier as part of the class eligible beyond this year.
All right, so these guys eligible in 2021, and of course, with that induction ceremony being pushed back, they'll combine 21 and 22. So we look ahead to the class of 2022, and there's certainly one name that jumps off the board as opposed to any other name on here, and it's Roberto Luongo, fourth all-time in wins. Certainly makes things a little more difficult for some of those guys in 2021 when you have this name in there as well.
Yeah, I think you add Bobby Lou into the mix, and it really crowds out and makes the feat or the distinction all the more difficult for a guy like Rick Nash especially. But yeah, when you're talking about fourth all-time in wins, this game's been around a good long while, and Roberto is really turned in both in a Florida Panthers jersey, and then certainly through what you might consider the peak of his career as a Vancouver Canuck. Really turned in a remarkable resume between the pipes for a couple of different NHL teams. Very, very Hall-worthy in my estimation.
All right, just good to see the Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony back on track.
Right.
Upcoming
like
this November.